Good evening, everyone. This is the December 12th special call meeting for the City Council of the City of Brookhaven. Clerk, if you would call the roll.
Rebecca Chase Williams.
Present.
Jim Iron.
Present.
Joe Gebbia.
Present.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. I'd like everybody to stand for the pledge, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, I'd like to thank you all for coming. I'd like to especially thank a couple people. Ms. Leslie Marwitz for her work on the furniture and the setup of our potential future temporary office space. Please stand, Leslie. I'd like to thank Nancy Patan also. She's been helping out with some work on city clerk candidates and city manager candidates. Please stand, Nancy, and some other things. Okay. Next item on the agenda, and that's all I have right now. Next item on the agenda, clerk.
Be the opening remarks, Mr. Mayor.
I just made them.
We have the minutes.
Yes.
You should have a copy of those.
I do.
If it's satisfactory to the council, Mayor, it would be appropriate for a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a motion?
I do. So moved.
Have a second? You want a second? You want to wait a second before you do a second?
Second.
Yes. Okay. Any discussion?
Are there any additions or amendments that the Mayor and Council might want to make on the minutes?
Only that there should be a second sentence of the meeting went swimmingly well. Maybe we'll do that.
I can make that adjustment.
With that addition, if you want to call for the vote, we'll do.
One note, results, it's Wednesday, December 12th, not Friday.
Okay.
Right above other business on Thursday.
Yes. So if we all,
You just wait for your notes on it so you can amend them for.
if we all write that in initially.
She'll amend it and and it'll be to make the change for the permanent minutes after you take a vote.
Should we just do another motion to adopt that with that amendment?
Adopt the minutes as presented with the amendment by Councilmember Iyer.
That's a motion.
So moved.
Second. Any more discussion? All in favor, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Madam Clerk, please enter in the minutes that the minutes have been adopted from the previous meeting. Next item, Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, there's no consent agenda on tonight. There's no announcements that I know, unless the Mayor or Council have any announcement they wish to make.
No. Next item.
Under reports and presentations, Mayor, I believe that Mr. Beardsley wants to give a report on the update on the lease for the temporary space.
Okay. 2 nights ago, I told you I'd received the lease, and I've since now reviewed the lease and gone over with brokerage firm Colliers and proposed my changes back to the landlord. I also sent a copy to city attorney to see if they have any comments on it, and we'll get those comments tomorrow as well. And I hope to hear very soon from the landlord's lawyer, and not a lot of issues, I don't think. And so we hope to get that Friday. I would believe we'll be in a position to sign that based on what was approved on Monday. And the idea is hopefully that we can take occupancy on Monday, assuming it's all signed. An important component has come up also since then. Mayor Davis made a point of mentioning it. We had only very rough idea of what the staff component and the number of actual personnel that would be sitting in the office would look like until we took some information out of what the Governor's Commission received. And last night, basically, personally, I just distilled all of the staffing suggestions by the vendors, particularly the ones that look like the recommended vendors, and made one complete two-page summary of what the actual personnel plan would look like, trying to categorize those in terms of a management level office, more of a supervisory level office, or more of a staff level office. And I completed that and gave that to Leslie and back to Bruce Whitmer. Got comments from both of them. And I also sent it to the IT contractor because they kind of needed to know how many desks and workstations there were going to be. So we made a lot of progress in that. And then Leslie actually distilled that. Leslie went and reviewed the building on Tuesday, got the CAD drawings from the landlord, and she has put together a proposed, preliminary, of course, but a test fit, if you will, to show where all the how the offices would lay out with the different departments and all. And so this is some real good work. But Leslie has been working on this for months and attending meetings, so this is just a culmination of all her efforts. But in any event, we're prepared to get right to work on getting the office outfitted. And the landlord representative, Terry Rappel, is here tonight. Terry, want to stand up? There's Terry. She's a property manager for the owner, and everybody wanted to meet her, to make her available tonight. So let's see. Roughly, it looks to me like there'll be about 55 full-time employees in the space. 5 of those, this is employees and vendor employees, of course, but there'll be probably 5 of those 55 are people with jobs that are a lot in the field, a lot of time, code compliance officers, building inspectors, and then another 10 to 12 part-time people. So that's 67 desks and workstations, and Leslie's accommodated all that in the space that we have. Sure, there will be some people in cubicles and 2 to an office, but group them according to their functional areas. So I don't have a draft of the lease yet for Corporate Square for the municipal court office. Expect to have that by Friday as well, but that's not quite as urgent. So I hope that's satisfactory. Folks, any questions from council?
Leslie's accounting for furniture that we still need. She has an inventory of that as well.
She took inventory of what's there, and actually we probably have a little more than we need in the space right now, Leslie, right?
Just a few more desks than we need, but
Few more
maybe
desks.
we need some more chairs,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a few conference tables and bookcases and filing cabinets.
Conference tables, filing cabinets, fill-in stuff. We've talked to the landlord, and they've agreed to let us, any extra furniture we don't need, they'll let us place it in the excess space that they have available in the building. So there'll need to be a mobilization effort that y'all authorized us through the interim city manager on Monday. And the IT people are just waiting for their signed contract, and they'll go to work.
Who has that? Bill?
It's in those notebooks. The contract's in those notebooks.
We'll pull it out of the notebooks and bring it to you to sign, Mayor.
Right.
Okay.
And they have been going to work already. I've been talking to them today, and I have something for you to sign right here.
Yeah. They have been going.
Are they here?
There's something.
Oh, there it is.
Gary Nichols here?
Yes.
Okay, Gary, good.
Come on down, I'll sign that, so we can go back and get to work. I've got a pen right here.
Well, thank you, Gary. Gary is jumped into action Monday morning as soon as I called him, and so you want to comment on what you've done so far? I think people would like to know.
Be happy to. We've taken done a site survey of the 200 Ashford Center space, and as mentioned at the last city council meeting, the cabling is in very good shape. Sometimes when people move out, they clip it off the ceiling, and it makes all the cabling worthless. So with the amount of cabling that's there, that's worth over $15,000 of cable, $50,000 savings by using the cable that is there. Cat 5e, current enough spec for us to use. We just simply need to re-terminate it in the server room. There's a few areas that may need additional cabling. The area where the cubicles are, we're not individually wired, but that is a relatively minor expense. As soon as the lease is signed, probably within 24 hours, we'll have a cabling down there to finish that. The other really big thing we need once the lease is signed is to bring in an internet connection to the site. At that point, we can bring the servers in, the phone system, and all the other functions. We have ordered some temporary switches out of our pocket for you to use until we get equipment up and running of your own equipment. But the main holdup right now is lease, which will allow us, as property management, to access the roof to put an instant 10-meg wireless circuit in place until a permanent high-speed fiber can be put in place, which is more like a 45 to 90-day turnaround time for that, and a permanent T1 or SIP lines, whichever we choose to use for the telecommunications. So the servers are up and running. The domain is stood up. The Windows domain is stood up. You have remote access, file shares, Office loaded. Everything is ready to use. The servers all ready to go. They are currently sitting in our data center, but they will be moved to your offices as soon as everything is going. That is basically some brand new loaner equipment from us until you can get your equipment ordered and roll this wires back in the house, or you can buy it, whichever way you want to go with it. We're in very good shape.
What's the time frame for getting the internet thing on the roof?
If the lease were signed tomorrow,
Right.
being Thursday, if it's done in the morning, I could have a guy there in the afternoon. Otherwise, if it's not on Thursday, I'll have a guy there on Friday, which our goal throughout everything is basically a day one operation. So we want to have a live phone system, internet access, some printing capability, all of that ready on day one of operations. If it drags on a bit, it will be within 48 hours or so when we're able to actually have permission with the building to run a cable down from the roof to the space. And beyond that, it would be 45 to 90 days before we bring the call.
Thank you. Well, you're doing a good job so far. Next on the agenda.
The next would be old business, and that would be the action item concerning the request for proposal to hire an executive search firm. I believe that they presented that to you all.
And you have resolution R 2012-12-01 before the council. Do I have a motion?
If you desire to take if you prefer to take the recommended vendor, the form of the motion would be that you'd make a motion to approve a contract with the, I believe it's Slavin that's the recommended vendor, to approve a contract with Slavin for executive search for a city manager.
So strike my motion and that's the motion that's on the table. Do I have a
So moved.
second?
Second.
Discussion.
I think get to work and get to work fast.
Yeah, really.
It's critical.
All right, it is. Any more? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of adopting this motion, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please enter the minutes of this item's passed. Next item.
Next item, Mayor, is under new business, action item, consideration and authorization to contract with and appoint an interim city manager.
Okay. I do have an appointment for interim city manager. Do I just can talk right now? Okay, I'm making a motion. Her name is Marie Lewis Garrett. I believe everyone on the council has met her, interviewed her. She's a stellar candidate. She's got experience in the startup of Johns Creek. She was highly recommended by the mayor in Johns Creek, Mayor Blocker. She impressed everybody immediately. Her demeanor, her attitude, her thoughts on what we need and what can help us get going in the right path is what we're all in agreement. So she's not here tonight, but I asked her if she could start working tomorrow. She said she could, so we can start getting things moving really quickly. So my appointment is Marie Lewis Garrett to the position of interim city manager. So I need a motion for that.
You need a motion to ratify.
I need a motion to ratify.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Any more comments about her?
Well, I'm excited about her as well. She has a 35-year history in government. She's been a city manager in the city of Canton and Alpharetta. As the mayor said, she was the interim city manager in Johns Creek, so she knows what a startup is all about. She really impressed us. She has a long history in this area, so she knows, she's very familiar with DeKalb County, the state of Georgia, the Atlanta Regional Commission, all the other various entities that a municipality interacts with. And I'm very excited that she was available and willing to take this on.
Kind of a steal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just add a comment. We had a lot of good candidates, and we had some good options on the table for this. This is probably one of the most important positions that we have to take responsibility to bring on board to the city manager. She's going to help us transition very well into a full-time permanent city manager. I think she's really going to help us express the culture that we're going to evolve as the city of Brookhaven. Feel very, very good about that.
And that was one of the important points that she made several times in the interviews that we had, was that she understands that all of the vendors are going to bring their own culture to the table, and she cautioned us about not importing the culture of the vendors into the city of Brookhaven. We need to establish early on our own culture, our own identity. I think the simple fact that she pointed that out and made that point was very important. So she understands that we are Brookhaven, we are not whoever, and I think that moving forward with her will be a very good first step.
Thank you, council. It's a good trend that we're all in agreement on something like this. So any more discussion or questions?
I do have a question of clarification. I wanted to make sure I had the motion correct in the second. I believe that Councilmember Divya was the original, and then Councilmember Air was the second. Is that correct? Thank you.
Okay, any discussion, any more discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor of ratification of this appointment, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Madam Clerk, please enter the minutes that Marie Lewis Garrett has been appointed and ratified as interim city manager for the city. Next item.
Mr. Mayor, the next item is consideration authorization to contract and appoint an interim city clerk.
All right. This item, not ready to do that, so I'll entertain a motion to table. Somebody will make that.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
If I could make a point
Sure.
of clarification, is that to the next specially called meeting, Mayor, or do you want to give yourself?
Yeah, we want to keep doing it until we get somebody, so.
All right, we'll put it on for the,
All right, for the next.
you call the vote.
All right, if, no more discussion. All in favor of tabling this action item, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Madam Clerk, please enter this into the minutes with this tabling is passed. Next item.
Mr. Mayor, the next item is consideration authorization to contract and appoint an interim city finance director / city accountant.
Can I make a motion? We could have a motion on that. I'd like to table this if we could have a motion on this.
So moved.
Second.
We'll put this on the next one if we need to. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor of tabling this action item, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I'm sorry.
Madam Clerk, please enter the minutes of this motion. This action has been tabled. Next, please.
The next action item is the consideration of the Governor's Commission recommendation on contract and task order award for finance and administration.
Motion.
I move that we accept the contract to move forward with the firm UHY, and that we have JAT and Severn Trent as backups for those services.
If I might clarify that, Councilmember, you want to issue contracts to all three of those, but issue the task order to UHY, is that correct?
That's correct, yes, sir. That's my motion.
Second it.
Okay. Discussion? No discussion? All right. All in favor of adopting this action item, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes. Madam Clerk, will you please enter to the minutes? Thank you. Next item?
The next item is a discussion and determination of the next city council meeting.
So this is open discussion. No. Friday is what we need to move in on Friday, and we'll be again on Sunday. I guess Friday here, I think it's available. Is the time up there, everybody, 7 or 6? We'll do it earlier on Friday. We'll do it maybe at 6 or 6:30. 7 fine.
We're having traffic so bad.
Getting back from work.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll sit.
Mayor and Council, if I could make an inquiry, one of the things that we have been trying to do is to give you one set of proposals at a time, so you'd have the opportunities to look over and get ready for one on each day. Is that consistent with your desires for us to continue to do that?
Yes, we'll be very deliberative on everything we do, so that's important that we don't get too swamped with one each multiple
I
items.
was trying to feed you the elephant one bite at a time.
Right.
Do you have any desire? I was looking at either Public Works and Parks and Rec or Community Development as one for Friday, and then I want to take your lead on where you want to go to next.
I think those two maybe relate to the following in my mind. The city clerk is of preeminent importance right now. We've got to spend our time interviewing, and since we can't meet, it's taking a lot longer because we have to have more than 2 people. So that's what it's going to take some time. So city clerk is of the utmost importance right now. If I know anybody, we really need somebody.
So maybe you'd rather look at municipal court, communications, those that might not have the
court. Or what do you think?
Well, I was going to suggest, and I think based on your comments, communications, trying to dovetail with the IT folks, getting website and getting that
Yeah, we've got internet. We need to have a website.
If their scope of services includes the website, then we need that interface as quickly as we can.
I'll get that for you on Friday, Dennis. Actually, it'll be delivered to you on tomorrow.
Yes,
So
tomorrow.
you can start reviewing all of that.
All right.
If I may ask one other question in terms of where you may want to go in terms of notification of the county on takeover of services, public works, and community development in particular, do you have a date that you have in mind on that?
On the county taking over, or
The city taking
over on the public works?
That requires a 30-day notice, right?
It does.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, let's do that at community service.
If y'all can start thinking about that, so I can, because I have to add it, since these are specially called meetings, I have to add it to the agenda, and
Right.
I can't put it on until after we post it.
If we have any more things, I'll email to you tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
All right, anything else?
You might want to mention Sunday night's meeting.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sunday night, can we go ahead and put that down when we're Sunday night? What time should we get here? 10:30 or 11? Or should we get here right at 11:59?
If I might suggest, Mayor, because you are making that a working meeting, and I anticipate that you will probably look at another set of contracts between Friday and Sunday, we probably ought to start about 10 o'clock, so you can, the ceremonial type of meetings that have previously been had, and the bringing in of a lot of data usually take about 35 minutes. So I would say that if we, since you want to have a working meeting too, we start at 10 and it goes to whenever it gets to, which we could be through as early as 11:15, but it would certainly give us time to give us some more time to do it. And then the next meeting would start right at midnight. We ask you to call the meeting to order at midnight and start there. I would think that all the meetings will be over by about 1:15.
So we have a pizza party beforehand on Sunday?
Wear your pajamas. Just point of clarification, are those two completely separate meetings?
They are.
Separately and.
They are. For purposes of bringing the city into existence, we will replicate what we do at 10 o'clock at 12 midnight, so as to do it both ways. It could be construed under the charter. I prefer to have both ways done than have to argue one was better than the other.
Okay.
And are we sure that this room is available?
It's my understanding that they've already done that.
This is something, I mean, this is I guess this is a discussion, all to discuss how grateful we are to St. Martin's for continuing to allow us to do this, and this is what's great about Brookhaven. We got a very nice place to be meeting for the meeting, and they've been very gracious. I don't know if anybody from St. Martin's is here, if anybody, kids go here, anybody goes to church here, but please express that. We'll probably do a letter, some kind of resolution about that as well. But thank you, St. Martin's.
I guess just in a comment, I've had questions from some folks about meeting schedules, and we apologize for the 24-hour notice, but, until probably after the first of the year, we're going to be going on this sort of catch-can meeting schedule. Sometime after the first of the year, we will establish a regular meeting night twice a month, as all the other jurisdictions do. We also hope to establish regular meeting places, possibly one north, one south. But we'll work all that out. But bear with us through probably the end of the year, and then we'll establish a more formal schedule after the first of the year, where you'll be able to plan more than 24 hours ahead when you're going to come visit with us.
Yes, I mean, tentatively, we're going Friday for certain, and then Sunday, everybody's, I got notes about that right now. Might have a work session the following week. We'll try to make on this weekend.
Yeah.
Saturday possibility. We're